The leader of one of the largest aggregate-producing companies in North America, Ward Nye has served many important roles in the industry, and he has provided invaluable work through the National Stone, Sand, and Gravel Association. Nye became president of Martin Marietta Materials in 2006 and the company's CEO 4 years later. In 2014, he was elected chairman of the company's board. Just as important has been his work as a strong voice for the aggregate industry. Whether reaching out to Congress, touting the industry on national television, or working with NSSGA, the industry has a true champion in Nye. He is a past chairman and current executive committee member of the association. At the time of Nye's chairmanship, then NSSGA President and CEO Gus Edwards articulated how Nye's chairmanship came at a critical time for the association and the aggregate industry. Said Edwards, "This year will be fraught with challenges, but if anyone has the wherewithal to convert them to opportunities, it's Ward." His leadership will continue to advance the interests of NSSGA as the single strong voice of the aggregates industry from coast to coast. In an address to the NSSGA Board of Directors, Nye emphasized building bridges on policy issues with like-minded groups, coalitions, state associations, and state governors in pressing for a new long-term highway bill and dismissing short-term extensions. Nye was appointed CEO of Martin Marietta Materials in January 2010, in the midst of the global economic downturn. Since that time, he has led Martin Marietta as the company carefully executes its strategic plan and delivers a strong performance for investors. Nye began his career in the aggregate industry as a general counsel for Hanson Aggregates East, with additional responsibility for environmental, safety, and health. Prior to joining Martin Marietta in 2006, he worked his way up to the role of Executive Vice President of Hanson Aggregates North America. Nye completed his undergraduate studies with honors at Duke University and received his law degree from Wake Forest University. A tireless advocate for the aggregate industry, he and his wife Laura have 3 children and live in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Good evening, and thank you all very much. Rob, Kevin, thank you so much. That's tremendous. And this is such a special evening. Thank you all so much for being here. When Rob and Kevin were corresponding with our office several weeks ago, they emailed my assistant, Nancy Little, who really runs the business, for those of you who know Nancy. And they told her in an email, they said, "Look, Ward can talk for 5 minutes." And she came in and said, "But I really think they think that 3 would be better." So I'll try to make this relatively brief, but again, thank you very much, Pitt and Quarry. And congratulations to the fellow inductees. It's great to see Bill and Frank, and congratulations to Mr. Luck as well. You know, several things that I need to say here this evening before I sit down. 1, thank you all. 2, I need to make sure that I thank my wife, Laura. You know, it's funny, when they're talking about knocking down walls, you know, one thing I need to tell you, you'll think more of Laura when I share their story with you. I started chasing this girl 31 years ago. And the first time I asked her out, I knew she had good judgment because she said no. But what it taught me was how important resilience is. But more than resilience, for those of us who are involved in M&A, she taught me something really important: how to beg. I mean, in essence, she said no to me the first time I asked her out. So I said, you know, it takes so much courage for a guy to call somebody up and ask them out this way. And of course, I'd asked her out for a Friday night, and she felt badly enough for me. She said, "Well, I can't go Friday, I can go Saturday." So the good news is, for those of you in this industry, tenacity tends to count at the end of the day. But the things that she has done in my life have been extraordinary. I thank you for the things that you've done, the things that you said, but equally for the things that you haven't done and the things that you haven't said. Because I know there have been plenty of times that she had to roll her eyes at me over the years. The fact is, I think we've been married 30 happy years. I know we've been married 30 really interesting years. But the other thing that I'll tell you, the other 2 groups that I need to thank in particular are the folks, one at Hanson, who took a chance on a 29-year-old lawyer years ago and gave me the opportunity to do some things that most lawyers simply don't get a chance to do. And they gave me a chance to run some businesses in North Carolina and some businesses in Texas. And we really enjoyed our time when we were here in Texas for several years. But then everything changed when I got a call one day from Steve Zelnick, and he gave us a chance to come back to North Carolina. And what I'll share with you is we enjoyed Texas. It's a wonderful state. We would do it all over again. But the day that I got that call, and I was coming back to North Carolina with a very North Carolina family, my mother was in that state, my mother-in-law was in that state. I've always told people that was the one time in my life when I knew I'd made my mother, my wife, and my mother-in-law all happy on the same day. And that's truly a red-letter day when that happens. You know, the other thing that I need to say is I get the privilege of working with a fantastic team every day in the office in Raleigh. And I get to work with people like Rosalind Barr, Dan Grant, Don McCuniff, Jim Nicholas, Jay Moreau, John Moore, Nancy Little, and others. I also have the privilege of working with a tremendous group of division presidents throughout our organization as well. John Harmon, Larry Roberts, Joe Riley, Ron Copeland, Bill Gahan, Pat Walker, and soon to be Abbott Lawrence in the Rocky Mountain. I don't get to see them every day, but I'm thankful for them every day, and they make a tremendous difference. But part of what I'm most proud of is what we're building at Martin Marietta. I believe we're building a great American company that has the capacity to endure, and that's important. And one of the ways that I think we're able to do that is we're focused on mission, vision, and values in our business. But what I like about that is the mission, vision, and values that we have in Martin Marietta are not at all different than the mission, vision, and values that we share as an industry. The things that we share, the things that we have in common are awfully clear. We care deeply about the safety of our employees. That's something that each of us wake up every day and are committed to. And the fact is, this industry turned in the safest year in its history last year. It's something that we can and should be very proud of. The other thing that we're committed to are our communities. We never lose sight of the fact that we're operating a heavy industry, oftentimes in people's backyards. And what we have from those people are purely and simply a social license. If we don't do that the right way, we're going to be out of business. And the fact is, the people in this room and your companies do it the right way every day. And the other thing that we're committed to, and you can hear it so well in what Charlie Luck said here this evening about his father and others, is a commitment to integrity. It's simply doing things the right way every day. And that's something that I know this industry is committed to, this association is committed to, and Pitt and Quarry is committed to. It was interesting, several years ago, Mark Twain had a quote. He said, "Always do right. This will astonish some and gratify the rest." So let's keep astonishing some and gratifying the rest. Thank you all very much. Have a nice evening.